everyone, I'm Sunny D and welcome back to another episode of the Appalachian Expose. Our own Shane Douglas recently got a chance to sit down with Mr. Hughes to talk about his humble beginnings in the wrestling business and their time together in ECW.
Hey, this is the franchise, Shane Douglas, on the road with the franchise, and sitting next to me is one of the great big men of professional wrestling, Curtis Big Cat Hughes. I've known you since, what, 1995 or 6?
That's a long time, my friend.
Long time. The olden days, right?
You got it. The olden days.
But I was very well aware of you before that because of the impact you were making in wrestling. I was always, when I was a kid coming up in wrestling, the big men like, Andre the Giant and even like Hogan in those early days, they did the typical big man stuff, right? Tackle, no sell it, there was none of the technical wrestling that I liked. And then I saw your big ass moving around, and this is around the same time that I've met Vader, knew Bam Bam Bigelow, and you guys, to me, I'm sure I'm leaving names out, but there was like a handful of big men that came in the 90s like that transformed what being a big man in wrestling meant.
Right, yeah.
And it wasn't just a typical big man, no sell the tackle and headlock and push and pull, that kind of stuff that you'd seen previously.
Right.
Suddenly you're seeing big bastards like you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, huge. I always felt like little kids around these guys. I was 253 pounds, and what were you at that time when I
was
first
about
met you?
360.
And how tall?
6'3".
6'3", 360.
Big son of a gun.
Bam Bam in that 400, 450 range.
Yeah.
Vader in that 400 range.
Yeah, there was a few of us.
Yeah,
big guys.
But literally transformed it, and I think took it to a different level.
Yeah.
Because now you're seeing, it was an old thing Terry Funk told me, Curtis, about wrestlers, and he said, you have to ask yourself, Shane, if you were walking down a dark alley one night, and somebody was coming the other direction, when they see you, would they stop and turn around and walk the other way? Or would they keep walking and say, hey, buddy, how you doing tonight? Mm-hmm. And, so I knew that in the wrestling business, a smaller guy, 6'1", 253 at my peak, that I had to evoke something character-wise differently, but you certainly weren't in that class. I mean, you had the person turning around and walking the other way.
No doubt. I'll tell you, when I got started, man, I always wanted to do it when I was a young kid, man, growing up, and started, got in athletics. My brothers introduced me to it, and but when small as a kid, man, watching the stuff growing up, man, I just wanted to do it.
Who trained you?
Harley Race, Bob Geigel and Sonny Myers.
Okay.
A couple of the old timers.
Oh yeah.
So I pretty much got taught the old school way of working, in that ring, man. And I'm glad that, those guys kind of pretty much, showed me what I needed to know. But coming right out of college, out of K-State, and getting trained, by Bob Geigel, one of the top promoters in Kansas City, or in NWA at the time.
Right.
Because he brought a lot of. Did you ever go to Kansas City?
I was never in. I wrestled there, but never worked in the Kansas.
Okay, so you never. Well, anyway, with Bob Geigel, I mean, he brought everybody in. I mean, like a lot of the old names. Like if I told you, you know who they are.
Yeah.
From Harley Race to Andre the Giant, man. I mean, he brought. Flair, and all these stars I used to see.
Sure.
Growing up, and then getting out of college and then getting trained by one of the top promoters, Bob Geigel and Sonny Myers, and then making my shot at the AWA. But the whole thing was when they were teaching me, man, they were showing us how to do all these bumps, right?
Yeah.
And it was a small ring. I mean, the padding was just this freaking thick. See, a lot of these young kids today, man, they got it easy in these freaking rings, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they're like a freaking sofa, right?
Sure.
The ring bounces. The technology in the ring is a lot different. It's much safer. You've been there. You've done that. And the ring we trained in is the same ring that we worked in on Thursday nights.
Oh, yeah.
And this ring, all it had, you see this carpet on this floor? That's how much cushion that was in this damn ring. You had wood, then you had the carpet, then you had the canvas.
Yes.
But that ring was designed so good that when you bumped right, it would sag, But if you bumped wrong, it felt like falling on this concrete.
Yeah.
So and if we didn't train at the arena, we went to go train at some dungeon where it was hot. It was an old, they still used it, but it was It was a boxing gym in the I mean, I ain't lying, literally in a freaking basement in this old building.
Right.
It was like sitting in the sauna in there, and we were in the ring doing drills, and then we would start training.
Sure.
Man, I'm telling you something. I sweated like a hog. I lost a few pounds, but a lot of these young cats train in air conditioners and don't know nothing about paying their dues of training in a real wrestling gym.
And let me ask you, 'cause I know how Dominic trained, all of us that were in the school. Repetition.
Yeah.
Over and over and over until you got it right.
That's what we did. Yeah.
Yeah. And then next week did it again. Over
Right,
and over
yeah.
and over again.
Yeah.
See, Dominic's when I started with Dominic in 1982, it was a little bit different. He hadn't yet got the school where I would meet Mick Foley and Cody Michaels and Mark Curtis.
Right.
I started in Dominic's barn.
Oh.
Now he's since decided the barn, but back then, the boards had openings about that wide between November.
Right.
The first training session I went to, I didn't know how to take a bump.
Right.
We hadn't learned that yet.
Yep.
Snow is blowing through the barn, freezing cold. And take a bump.
That's how you train?
Yeah, for 3-4 months like that.
Yeah.
And then he finally rented an old gymnasium in a school, and which is where I met Mick and all the other guys I just mentioned. But repetition. And the other part was, you knew who the boss was.
Exactly.
If Dominic was talking, you shut your mouth and listened.
Yeah.
And Dominic, I've heard stories. I'm sure you have too. Of the guys that would break bones and do this.
I heard a lot of that.
I never saw that, but Dominic would do the thing where he'd be amateur wrestling, and when he wanted to, he'd grab you and take you and put you down and put an elbow in your cheek or whatever. Just let you know I'm in charge.
Exactly.
And I can take you down anytime I want to like this.
Oh yeah. Geiger did the same stuff like that, man. I mean, this guy was an amateur freaking wrestler. He went to Iowa.
Okay, well, there you go. Yeah, right.
I mean, and this guy had the cauliflower ears, and what I mean. He was a strong dude, strong old dude, man. And he would get us in there, and he would teach us how to sell. Mm-hmm. Like he'd get you in a wrist lock and see how you would respond. Mm-hmm. And he would wrench on it. It's either he goes. If you really wanted somebody to really believe you, how would you really sell this thing? He goes, I'm gonna show you.
Yeah.
And so he had got this one guy, and the guy wasn't selling right. And I was like, okay, I think I know what he's trying to do. And I was like, sir? And so I said, can I, get in? And I got up in there, and he did it enough. He did it enough to where I sold it like he was breaking my arm. And he goes, that's how you do it, kid. Yeah. And he was like, this is how you sell.
Yeah.
And so from that point on, whenever even if it was a punch or he was working an arm or a leg, I'd sell the same way. And some guys like, he's overselling. There's no such thing, in my opinion, that you oversell. I mean, if you sell it just enough, if I really, really put some pressure on your body, some parts of your body, man, you're going to scream like a freaking, like a girl, man, because it's really hurting. And so that's why when I started training, I trained just like that to make it look believable.
Yeah.
You've been in the business a long, long time.
So a big guy's selling his ass off.
Exactly. And so if you wrenching on somebody's arm, you're a big old beast, and the guy you're working with ain't freaking selling right, it's gonna make you look weak as I don't know what. Right. So I taught my guys how to sell. Like if I'm wrenching on your arm,
Sure.
Please, back and forth like this, twist, try to get loose, wrench on it where it's pain,
Absolutely.
And so that's how I got taught. And so as time went on in my career, man, I called Geigel up right before I finished college. I was still playing football at K-State, and I wanted to be a wrestler. I didn't care about going pro. I didn't want to play pro ball. My mom wanted me to go pro, but I said, I want to be a wrestler. I don't want to play pro ball.
Yeah.
And so I did some research. They didn't have internet back then. I just, made a few calls. I had a visit when I was in high school. I was All-American and all that, so I was highly recruited.
Right.
And I had a visit to, you give you 5 schools to go visit.
Sure.
One of the schools was K-State and Oklahoma. But at this particular game, K-State was playing Oklahoma in Manhattan, and Steve Williams was still playing.
Is that right?
He was in college then, still playing with. I tell you how long ago this was.
Yeah.
And so it was an 80 3. My last year of college, my last year of high school, excuse me. I had my visit to K-State. I was like, yeah, I'm taking that visit because they're playing Oklahoma, and I want to talk to Steve Williams about the business.
Sure.
What I need to do. This is for.
Had Steve started breaking in at that point?
He was already wrestling.
Oh, really?
He was wrestling and playing football.
Wow, I didn't know.
He was working for Watts.
Yeah, I didn't know he was while he was still playing college ball.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yes, sir. That's why I was like, man, you can wrestle and play football?
Yeah, right.
You know, so when they came to K-State, I was like, I'm gonna take that visit to K-State so I can go talk to him. That was the whole reason why I went there.
Yeah.
I didn't give a damn about the football stuff at the time. My whole focus was talking to that man about who I need to speak with. This is before I talked to Geigel now.
Right.
And so I went to the game, and you know, long story short, you know, all the recruits get to come on the field and, you know, mingle around, walk on and check the turf out, and wow, you know, it'd be great playing in this big old stadium. Right. On the other end, Oklahoma's warming up. K-State is warming up on the other end. So they said, yeah, mosey on around. And I was like, I figured out what number he was, and I moseyed on down in the end zone where they were stretching. And I was behind, in the end zone by the pole, and I saw Steve. I said, yo, Steve, how you doing, man? I'm Curtis Hughes, man. I'm a recruit. I'll be going down to Oklahoma for a visit next week, but I'm interested in, getting in the wrestling business. He goes, where you from, kid? I said, Kansas City. He goes, there's a guy in Kansas City named Bob Geigel, promoter. Look him up.
No kidding.
That's all he said.
See?
That's all he said.
You took the volition, get it,
Yep.
There's the connection.
And man, my junior year, because I started playing football, right? Because I was still in high school when I met him.
Sure.
And I signed with K-State anyway, because I got there. They took me out, showed me some money, gave me some money, K-Fave, and took me out, and I banged a couple of chicks.
There you go.
I'm coming here. I like this school.
It sounds like a good time, yeah.
And so my junior year, I got in touch because Bob Geigel's phone. He was on, they were on TV, so the address was 910 Pennsylvania in Kansas City, Missouri, and they had the phone number. When they do a show, they'll put all that stuff on TV. I was like, you want to reach, for a fundraiser, and I was like, oh damn, there's the number. So I called. Now, when I was in high school, I was recruited by Iowa heavily.
Yeah.
I almost went there. I went to football camp there for 2 years in a row. And I almost went there. And Geigel must have, because I was always on TV in the news, because I was a freaking top athlete.
Yeah.
Anyway, I didn't know this at the time, but I called Geigel. Hey, Geigel, my name's Curtis Hughes, and I'm a athlete. I play football at Kansas State. He goes, Curtis Hughes, yeah, I heard of you. You almost went to Iowa, but you didn't. How you doing, kid?
Wow, so you did some homework on you.
Yeah, he knew I was. Yeah. He goes, what can I do for you? I said, well, I'm at K-State right now, but I had talked to Steve Williams. I'm telling him the whole truth about how I got in touch with him. I'm talking to Steve Williams. I talked to Steve Williams, and he told me to get in contact with you. You might be able to direct me in the right direction. He goes, I tell you what, Curtis, when you get a chance, when you get done with school, he said, where you from? I said, I'm from Kansas City, Kansas, Wyandotte County. He goes, oh, that's where Memorial Hall was, right up the street from my mama's house, man. He goes, I tell you what, when you get done, give me a call, and we'll see what we can do. Anyway, I finished school. I go home, and I think he wanted to really see if I really wanted to do it. So he hooks me up with this guy. His name was Steve Estes, some kind of jobber guy.
Yeah.
He hooks me up with him. I call Steve Estes. He says he lives in St. Joe, Missouri. So he says, meet me at this address, which was his house, right? So I got my first vehicle. A friend of mine helped me get my first vehicle. I drove to St. Joe, went to this guy's house, right? Because he told me to bring some stuff to work out in. I'm going, oh man, maybe. But I asked Geigel on the phone how much it's going to cost. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that right now. So he hooks him with the Steve Estes guy. I go to Steve Estes' house. I'm thinking he's going to take me to a gym, right? So I go knock on the door. Hey, I'm Curtis Hughes. Hey, how you doing? I'm Steve Estes. Come on in. He goes, did you bring something to work out in? I said, yeah. He said, yeah, you can go in the bathroom and put it on. I go put my stuff on. I'm thinking we're going to go down the street to the gym. Yeah. Well, we're in the freaking living room. He starts showing me stuff. Exactly. He started showing me a wrist lock, how to lock up in the living room. Yeah. I'm going like, what the hell is this? But I kept coming back.
Right.
The third day, I get a call to my mama's house, because that's where I lived at the time. And Geigo called and said, meet him up at Memorial Hall. I said, Memorial Hall? That's where they used to do the big shows in Kansas City. Yeah. Everybody been through there. I remember going there watching Harley Race and Rufus R. Jones go at it, and Andre the Giant walk up the ramp, big as he was. I was a little bitty boy then.
Oh, sure.
And I was amazed. So I get to Memorial Hall, and the ring set up, the same ring that was there when I was a little boy watching it on TV. The same freaking ring.
Yes.
And I'm looking, I'm going like, man, this is where they did all this stuff. And I went in the back of the dressing room, and I'm walking around in the dressing room, man. I was like, man, these guys are in the same dressing room. Yeah. Just imagine you're this little kid, and you go to the same place where you've seen all these freaking...
Like with Oz, right?
Exactly.
You're in the,
I'm in heaven, dude.
Yes.
And so anyway, Geiger walks in. We're in the building, and I'm sitting there just sitting in the bleachers because there was a few of us there. Brian Clark was there. Adam Baum. He trained with me. Yeah. And so we're sitting there, I'm just nervous as hell. I didn't know what to expect.
Sure.
And so Geiger walks in and, enters there. I'm Bob Geiger, how you guys doing? How you doing? I'm Curtis Hughes, how you doing? Meeting everybody. He goes, all right, this is what we're going to, right off the bat, he just told us we're going to start. We're going to start, you guys are going to get stretched. And the whole time he didn't say how much we had to pay. He did not tell us we had to pay nothing yet. So we're going like, wait a minute, now we ain't discussed no money. He already got us training.
Yeah.
We're going calisthenics and running around and up the bleachers and down, getting warmed up.
Oh, yeah.
Then the calisthenics, jumping jacks. Then we get in the ring. And now he's going to teach us how to hit the ropes. But he ain't told us how much we had to pay yet. So I was looking at freaking Adam Bob, Brian Clark, I'm going, and a couple other guys, T.C. Carter. I said, man, we training, but he ain't said nothing about no money. Maybe he's going to tell us later. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, we trained for about a week. Right? And so after that week, I went to Geigo. I said, Mr. Geigo, can I talk to you for a second, sir? Yeah, what's up, kid? I was like, I was just wondering, you haven't discussed to us about, how much how much it costs to train, because I talked to a few other guys and they kind of gave me, a little price, but he goes, I'll tell you what, Curtis, don't worry about that right now. Just focus on training, right? I promise you not. This guy did not charge a few of us nothing. He wanted, because Crockett had pretty much took over, of the NWA thing.
Right.
Vince was buying up everything. Right. That was the time when everything was kind of, all the territories were starting to go under, because WWF took off and started buying companies and taking talent. The whole story.
Oh, yeah.
And so my time when I started, Crockett had went in cahoots supposedly with Kansas City Wrestling, NWA, see? And then all of a sudden, they started coming to Kansas City and taking over.
Yeah.
Having Kansas City boys do the job, see?
Same thing he did in UWF.
Exactly. Yeah. And so eventually, that kind of went south. Then I had my early years in college, I had gotten in trouble. I was working at a bar. And girlfriend broke up with me. I went to the bar on my day off, was drinking, went over her house, tore the place up. Didn't put my hands on her. I just tore the furniture up. Because he called the police on me when I passed out on the floor. And I woke up. The cop just said, hey, wake up.
Yeah.
They took me to jail. Went to court. They said you got to pay restitution. They kept doing this. I ain't paying y'all nothing. 120 days. Now, at that time, I started training with Geigo, though.
Yeah.
See, that's how good God was to me. I started training with Geigo, and I went to jail for 120 days. And when I was in jail, I was writing Geigo letters. Can I please, is it okay if I keep training when I get done?
Sure.
He goes, Curtis, whenever you get out of there, you look me up. You call me, and we'll start where you left off.
Right.
And man, the whole time I was there, because they sent me to Wichita, worked at this farm, looked like this.
Yeah.
In and out, went to the gym every day. That's how it was. There wasn't no serious time, you understand? But they gave me 120 days just to, Negro, we want our money.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting up here not paying them restitution. So anyway, I'm writing Geiger back and forth, and he always wrote me back. Always, man.
Wow.
And everything was always positive.
Yeah.
And so finally, I finished my 120 days. I went home. He was the first one that I called when I got home because I wanted to continue my freaking wrestling training because I wanted to be a wrestler. It was right there already, man.
Absolutely.
I mean, once I started training, I was like, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And I'm not just going to just go to jail and then come out and do something else.
Right.
I got out, called him up. Man, he open arms, brother. Went back, started training again. We worked out at the Memorial Hall. Then we went to that dungeon I told you about a few times.
Sure.
Finally, I got my training in and started doing my first shows at the Memorial Hall.
How long after you got out did you have your first show?
After I got out, I'd say within 4 months, because I was already training a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but I watched it as
Still greener than goose shit, right?
Oh yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Because I had to work with Geigo. I mean, I had to work with Bulldog Bob Brown and Harley Ray. Just the real veterans, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember having a match with Bob Brown, man, and I messed some stuff up. He threw me out on the freaking ring. Got a cheer, brother. Bent over me, bam. Damn. He said, "Don't do that no damn more." And I didn't.
Yeah.
But it taught me a lesson.
Absolutely.
See? I mean, all those guys were good to us, man. I mean, because basically what was going on, the reason why Geigo didn't charge us, he knew a lot of those other guys had to go somewhere else so they could feed their families, see?
Sure.
Because Geiger was not probably paying them the same amount of money.
Right.
So he was trying to raise up some young cats to keep the show going, to keep the company rolling. So he's trained a bunch of us so he can run the business, see? And so, I mean, he did a good job. Him and Sonny did a great job on this, man. I mean, I can tell you that much, and because they're all gone now. But I used to call and thank him, you know. And so that's how I got started and got rolling,
But it's funny, some real similarities in the way you're describing with Bob. Dominic at the time was charging $1,500 to train people, and I knew that he had told us all. He didn't talk to one of us here, and you over there. Talked to us as a group. Yeah. And honest to God, at that time, $1,500 to me was like $15 million.
Yeah.
I didn't have $1,500.
Right.
And so about a month or two goes by, training every weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I was getting embarrassed, because he was never asking me for money. So I went to him and I said, Dominic, this, you have bills here. This is what this is your business, and I know how much you charge, but you never asked me for any money. And, I was getting ready to say, like, I'll give you as much as I can or whatever. And he comes back and he goes, did I ask you for money?
Yeah.
I said, yeah, but did I ask you for money?
Right.
He said, reached in his pocket, pulled out a key ring, went around like this, pulls the key off to the school, hands me the key. I said, what's that for? He said, that's how you're paying. He said, you get here an hour before we train every day. You open up, turn the heat on, slip the ring out, tighten the ropes, fill the water bottles, like the young boy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I was happier than shit. Years later, 5-10 years later, when I'm, finally making money on the road, I went out to his house and visited him. We were sitting out in front having some wine and a little table there in his yard. And I had an envelope with a money order in it for $5,000. I put it down and I slid that to him. At that time, he was still smoking those little Italian cigars, And he said, took it. He said, "What's this?" I said, "That's for you." He goes, "What?" I said, "That's for you." I took it and he opened it, pulled it, and looked at it. He goes, "What's that?" I said, "Dominic, thank you." He gave me a career. Right. Career. I was making a good living. Yeah. And I figured, 2-3 times what I couldn't pay him then with interest, whatever. Brother, he got fucking hot.
That's you.
Oh. Finally, I said, Dominic, please. He slammed his hand. He said, slammed his hand on that envelope and slid it back to me. He said, I told you I don't want that goddamn money. Yeah. And that was Dominic. Just a really classy guy. Yeah. And I'm sure in his mind he thought, well, Shane was always here early. Yeah. Had the furnace on, had everything cleaned. I did exactly what that man told me to do, including when I went on the road. Right. Told me to keep my mouth shut. Told all of us, keep your mouth shut and eyes and ears open.
That's right.
And I remember the first time I went to the WWF in '84. WWF then. Yeah. We get there, van full of us drove up, Mickey included, and they had 4 tapings then. You know, and you know, first tape versus Randy Savage, second tape versus Jake Roberts, third tape versus Buzz Sawyer, not Buzz Sawyer, was tag team partners with Ron Simmons.
Butch Reed. Oh,
Butch Reed, there you go. God, brain fart.
Yeah.
Butch Reed. And then the fourth hour was with Bobby Heenan and Paul Orndorff. So Randy comes to me the first tape and said, "Hey kid, what can you do?" And I was honestly afraid to open my mouth and say anything. He goes, "No, seriously, kid, what can you do?" I said, "Well, I can drop kick." And I said a couple things. Got it.
Yeah.
And he left. You know, we went out there and he got his heat on me, and then all of a sudden, drop kick me, kid, or whatever it was he called. You know, I was shocked. You know, I'm working with Randy Macho Man Savage.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And but again, just what those you always said with the guys that you learn from, how much of that was infused into us.
Yes, sir.
For the business,
big time. And I tell you something, man. You just mentioned, you know, working freaking Macho Man and, you know, big stars like that, right?
Yeah.
When I got to the level of even being around people like that, you know what I'm saying? I was in heaven, dude.
Sure.
I mean, when I left Kansas City, back and forth to go to Minnesota for AWA.
What year was that?
That was in 1988.
Okay.
87, 88.
So we were like different places.
Exactly. At the same time. Yes, sir. And so once I got trained and started working, then Geico talked to Vern. You know, send him some tapes, I guess, of me. Tell him about, you know, athlete, kid, good athlete, whatever he does is, because I was doing drop kicks and taking back drops. I was doing pretty much everything they taught me. As a big dude, see? And that was impressive to Geigel and Sonny, man. I mean, because Sonny used to, how I learned how to work, Sonny would be in the ring. He'd be the referee, see? And so he'd be pretty much telling us what to do. I mean, I was like, man, this is freaking awesome. This is easy. Because I was like, I'm working this dude tonight. He was kind of green, the guy I was working. I don't remember his name. But Sonny's the ref. And so in the dressing room, they're trying to, I guess, build me up a little bit. From my college days to there. I guess they're trying to branch my college career to wrestling. And so while we're in the ring, first we were in the back. Sonny was like, do your stuff. I'm gonna call at the time when the time is right. I'm gonna call your stuff. You do it. And I was like, okay. So when the time was right, he'd say shoot him off drop kick. When the time was right, he'd say shoot him off clothesline. I'm sitting there just having a ball with this, man. So anyway, long story short, I finally get my first gig in AWA. Geico says, yeah, you got a gig up there in Minnesota. Make sure he's, go see Vern. It's a TV taping.
I only ever met Vern saying hello. How was he to interact with?
He was a freaking nice guy.
Was he? He
really. I don't know what him and Geico talked about, but when I got there, man, his whole objective was to get me over. He said to me, he goes, because Junkyard was hot at the time, Junkyard Dog. And they wanted to create another Junkyard Dog in AWA with me. So Vern was like, him and his father, Vern and his son, damn it, what's his name? I can't think of his name.
Greg,
thank you. And his son pulled me in the office. They go, Curtis, you're a great looking athlete, man, and we're gonna branch off your college career to here. You're going to do your first TV taping here.
Which, let me hold so everyone understands, back then that was a big thing in the business, right? This guy had been a legitimate college football star, a pro, whatever, pro prospect.
And that's what they looked for too. Your background, when you did your resume, they wanted to know what kind of athletic background you had, or were you just working down at the hellhole and somebody trained you. Back then it was different.
Absolutely.
Because it was really kayfabe, man, to get in the game. You know that. These days, you can call up your buddy you've been having a couple of cervezas with, and he might be in the game. I'll train you tomorrow, man. But anyway, they got me in the office, and they said, Curtis, you're a great athlete. We like what we see, but here's how we want you to do your thing. Because they asked me what was my name going to be. And I was like, well, you know, in Kansas City, they call me Curtis the Cat Hughes. All right, we'll call you Curtis the Cat Hughes here. Signed a little TV deal. Wasn't nothing, $150.
Right.
TV taping.
Yeah. But it's your first contract.
Exactly.
Right?
It's my first, my first TV deal, contract deal.
Yep.
It was just with them, with AWA, ESPN.
Were they on ESPN at this time?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there you go.
Yes, sir.
Good. Yeah.
They were on ESPN, and it came on primetime, 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
That's right.
And so they said, we want you to go out there. We want you to go out there dancing, shucking and jiving like JYD.
Yeah.
Do the sabada that he does, and just do all that shucking and jiving, black stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I'm talking about. And so I was like, so we got some music for you. Just when you hear that music, you just go down that aisle and get the people, go around and be a baby face.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I believe I can do that. Before that, I had to do my first ever TV promo.
Okay.
Brother, and they're on YouTube. And if you was to look at them, you could tell that
Teleprompter?
You could tell that I was a nervous son of a gun.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I had no practice. They just said, just cut a promo.
Yes.
And I just started to talk, saying what I was going to do.
Were you in character?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well.
But I was trying to be.
Yeah.
You understand? I didn't understand what character really was. I know
right.
my name was Big Cat, and I had this big furry cat thing on, and I was just saying what I was going to do to the person. Well, I think it was one of the hangmen, one of the tag team, one of the hangmen. They call him hangman.
Right.
And I told him what I was going to do to him, and Jim Bischoff was the stick man.
Yes, I remember that. Sure was.
So I've been knowing Bischoff for years.
Yeah.
He was there. And so I hit the music, and I go out there, and I'm shucking and jiving, man. And I mean, it's it's online, man. It's the funniest thing you ever want to see. You can tell I'm green.
Oh, sure.
But as time went on, they kept pushing me, man.
Yeah.
And out of those TV tapings, that's when I got a call from freaking Jody Hamilton in Atlanta, Georgia. Yep, at WCW.
Yeah.
Calls me up, said, well, hey, we like the way you look. We're looking for somebody to run an angle with Luger. Because me and Luger had the same finish. I didn't know that at the time. But my finish was a torture rack too.
Right.
In freaking AWA.
I remember that, yeah.
And so they called me and said, yeah, we're looking for somebody to work an angle. We believe we can draw some money with you and Luger. Going around the country doing torture rack matches.
Yeah.
Now here's the funny part with this. I'm on the phone with Jody, and he asked me, what do you charge to come down here and work an angle with Luger, right? I'm going like, I don't, you know what I'm saying to myself, I mean, I'm trying to be as professional as I can, right?
But you got nothing to go on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there going, waiting for him to give me a number, see?
Yeah.
So I did that hum so long, he goes, how about 300 a night sounds? I was like, okay. that was a no-brainer, brother. Yeah. Because I was working with Geico, I was only making $50 a night. AWA, I was only making $150 a TV taping. Right?
Right.
And that was it. And so $300 a night to work this guy.
Doesn't it?
Yes, sir. To work this guy that I seen on TV that looks like a freaking monster.
Yep.
That they were pushing like freaking wildfire, brothers. Yes. I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And they say, yeah, we need you to be in Atlanta. We'll have a ticket for you, and had all the information that they sent me.
Right.
Come to the office, CNN building, and I went to I flew to Atlanta. I was all, and so they said, yeah, we want to use the Big Cat gimmick.
Yeah.
But when I got there, I started working. We started doing a gimmick. Started working, traveling the country. But Luger, I don't know if his head was big in this freaking room, but I guess he forgot that they brought me in to work with him so we could draw some money.
Right.
Okay? This guy, did not want to sit. Here we are on the freaking, at this 20,000 seater. We're in the main of freaking Vin here.
Yeah.
This freaking guy didn't want to sell my stuff. I'm saying, watch the punch, boom. The punch looked devastating.
Yeah.
He just went, boom.
Yeah.
I give him the big boot. He barely sold the freaking big boot. I powder out on the freaking floor. I'm walking around going, what the hell's going on here, man? So I get up on the apron, I call the ref, hey ref, tell this freaking guy if you don't work, I'm leaving. Right?
Yeah.
So we continue the match, finally we go home. I get out the ring first. I'm walking back to the freaking dressing room. I get through the curtain, and you know how the concourses are in those buildings, you know.
Yes.
I'm just pacing back and forth, waiting for him to come back from the freaking ring. I'm pissed off, man.
Sure.
I got taught in this business to protect yourself. That's what Geiger told me, man.
Amen.
Protect yourself. And he explained what he meant, right? And so when that happened, automatically that kicked up in my brain that, I see what he's talking about.
Yeah.
So when Luger came through the curtain, I said, yo, man, what the F's going on?
Yeah.
They brought me in here to work with you. They brought us in to make some freaking money, to draw some money. Why you ain't selling my stuff, man?
Correct.
He goes, what are you talking about, brother? I was like, dude, I gave you a punch. I gave you a big boot. You didn't sell anything. All the boys are watching.
Oh, sure.
They waiting to do a pull-apart, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, I came this close, though. But not one time did he sass back to me.
Yeah.
After that confrontation in the dressing room, we had the best matches that we had. He sold everything, everything. Now, I noticed in the business, being I was a young cat coming in, people try you. They try you, see where you at, see if you're going to get, see if they can punk you.
Yeah.
The Steiners did that to me. It didn't work.
Yeah.
You understand? I mean, they scorched my freaking hat one day. We was at center stage.
Yeah.
They was feeding me jobbers, see. I was doing handicap matches. They was just getting me built up when I changed that Mr. Hughes gimmick.
Yes.
I came back, I go to the ring, get my jacket, my hat to the ring person. They take it to your spot in the dressing room, put your stuff in.
Yeah, yeah.
I come back after that match. I go in the dressing room and my hat's scorched. You don't touch my gimmick.
Yeah, correct.
I came in there and went like, first person I thought about was the guy that I gave my stuff to.
Yeah.
You're responsible.
That's right.
So I go find this guy. Hey, man, what the hell happened to my freaking hat? Mr. Hughes, I don't know what you're talking about. Grabbed him by the freaking neck of the neck, and I was like, who did that? I don't know. And I pulled him out in the hallway from everybody, and I said, if you don't tell me who scorched my hat, I'm going to beat the white out of you. Exactly what I said.
Yeah.
And back then I was on drugs, so I didn't give a damn, you know what I'm saying? So I was pretty mean, you understand? You know how I'm coming. And so the guy said, man, one of the Steiner brothers did it. I was like, excuse me? He goes, yeah. Well, I said, which one? And he told me. And they used to carry that, they used to bring that pit bull with them.
Yes, yeah, I remember that.
Now in center stage, I don't know if you ever worked in center stage.
A million times.
But everybody's in the same damn dressing room. You know, it's like actors in the dressing room, lights on the thing, on the mirror.
Yeah.
And all the boys is like around the campfire when you get dressed, right? I went in there and those cats were like right up in the corner. And I went up to both of them and I was like, hey, I wanted everybody to hear me. I didn't give a damn.
Yeah.
I was like, because if y'all gonna jump me, I'm gonna fight to the bitter end. I'm from the old school,
the
hood. And I was like, listen, you guys, man, I don't touch your I was cussing at the time. I don't cuss that much anymore. But I said, if y'all touch my effing stuff again, I'm gonna kill that dog. I said, you're gonna come in after a freaking match and that dog's gonna be laying in the corner dead. You damn right. And I turned around and walked on over and sat back down and got my hat straight.
Yeah.
After that, we became real cool, man.
Oh, sure.
Yes, sir.
They were testing you.
Yeah. It happened with me and Vader.
Yes.
In WCW. We had a tag team match. Me and Vader was against the Steiner brothers.
Right.
Clash of Champions, bro. Live television show. Hear me?
Yes.
Of course, I had to do the job.
Right.
I didn't give a damn. I was making over 100-something grand.
Yeah.
To do this stuff. So anyway, in the back, we had it all worked out. We was gonna trade some stuff. We was gonna We was gonna split up our time in the ring because it was TV time, bro.
Right.
TV time is important.
Sure.
You're trying to build your career up so you can get to the next level. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And so here we are. We're in the freaking match, right? We tagging in and out. But then Vader stops tagging in and out as much as we was doing. He was getting most of the time in the ring. And I'm sitting there going, this mother. And every time he gets close, I try to do this number, and he does something else.
Yeah.
Throws the guy on the floor. Gets the heat, more heat.
Yeah.
Now he wants to tag me in when it's comeback time, and it's almost time to go home.
Right.
So he finally tags me in. Now it's comeback time. Now they're bumping me. Now it's time to do the finish.
Right.
The big time bulldog off the top. 1, 2, 3. Right? Those guys powder. They raise their hand on the floor. We still in the freaking ring. I get up. He wants to shake my freaking hand. I was like, F you, and I walked off.
Yeah.
Well, just like the same thing with Luger. I walk through the gorilla position. I'm pacing back in the back, waiting.
Yeah.
Steaming 38, brother. Hotter than a freaking whore on Sunday. He comes walking back through the gorilla position. Finally gets back to where I'm at. I'm going, yo, man, what's up, man? He goes, what's the matter, brother? I was like, dude, you didn't give me anything in that damn match.
Yeah.
He goes, what are you talking about? I was like, I mean, we're like this, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, we were ready to go at it. I was like, you didn't give me no effing time, man. I was like, this is a TV freaking match. I said, this is a class of the freaking champions. My career is important just like your career, man.
Right.
I'm not a jobber here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a star just like you. I'm going at it. And all of a sudden, here come the boys, pull us apart, man. After that, we didn't have no more trouble.
Same thing, right?
Same thing.
Yeah.
And I learned that, and I try to teach my boys that I train, man. You know, you might be young, but keep your mouth shut. But if somebody asks you something, say something. But don't get punked in the ring.
Right. But before we get to ECW, I would just based on something you just said about the first promo, right?
Yeah.
I was in UWF at the time. Is when Dusty Rhodes and the NWA had Watts had sold to Crockett.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they were coming in. We were wrestling in Dallas Reunion Arena. I had never done a promo at that point that I recall.
Mm-hmm.
If I did, it was with other people, right? And I came back from a match. I'm hot, sweaty, blown up. Comes to the curtain. Dusty goes, run back down the ringside. Jim, remember they used to do ringside then.
Yeah.
Jim Ross was going to interview you.
Right.
I said, what do you want me to say? He said, he'll tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Go back down the ringside, right? And he goes, well, we're here. He goes right into it.
Yeah.
Right, camera's rolling, and he puts the microphone right here. Dude, it felt like 10,000 people were laser beaming me.
Yeah.
I could hear my heartbeat in my ears.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was the worst promo you've ever seen.
Oh my God, yeah.
And I was so pissed off at myself that, hey, this is part of our game.
Yeah.
Right? Ring's half of it, talking's the other half of it. And I was so pissed off that I was caught with my pants down like that.
Yeah.
I swore it would never happen again. Not that I became good at it quickly, but I never did one that bad. I hope I've asked people to send it to me. Hopefully, it doesn't exist. It's maybe been erased somewhere. But I would love to see it just to get a good laugh at it. But that first promo, especially we're talking about. We make fun of it all the time, but how the kids there give it a teleprompter, right?
Yeah.
Just go out there and say these words and just do whatever with it and sabi da, but And instead we had like these camera lens looking at
That's
you.
it.
Right.
That red light come on, time to go to work.
Yeah.
I can remember doing some promos in WCW. I was already working. I already figured it out.
Yes.
And so I had already came to my own in my gimmick.
Yep.
And so, once I knew I was going to work.
You had that push to put with it too that made it believable.
Yeah, there you go. See, and another thing is I got a pair of these damn things. Yeah. I was like, if I can get behind them shades, I can really, be comfortable.
Yes.
Because folks can't see your eyes and how you get wandering all thinking. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I wanted, since my gimmick was the big cat, I wanted to have shades on. So people, when I walk to the ring, they can see my eyes, and I figured out a way to keep the shades on when I started working.
Gives another layer of protection.
Exactly. And so once I started doing my promos and started learning how to cut those mothers, I mean, it was easy then. But I can think of back in the time, man, where every time I get in front of that camera, my butthole would just be puckering, bro. I mean, I was sweating all fiercely up under them freaking clothes, bro.
Well, because not only was there not a teleprompter, but they also didn't say, okay, go out and say this and this.
Exactly.
And don't forget to mention that.
Right. I'm glad you brought that up, too.
Yeah, they come on, hey, big cat, you got Lex Luger coming up next week. What do you got?
Boom, he just started, hey,
you're on deck.
You look at that damn red light, boy, it's on you, man. You just got to sell that damn gimmick, man. Sell that freaking match.
Yeah.
And today, the way these guys cut promos, man, I feel like that is not him saying that.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Nation, Apollo Crews, he's United States champion up there right now. One of the guys I trained.
Right.
And I know when I taught that guy from the time he was at the school that he knows how to do promos. He does them really
Plus,
well.
you know how he speaks.
Exactly.
Phrases and words.
That's the key right there. I knew exactly how his phrases, words, and everything.
Yeah.
So one day I was listening to him cut a promo. And I was like, that is not how he does promos. That's not him.
Right.
Because I knew, because when I talked to him one time, he was like, yeah, they have us, saying what they want.
Yeah.
I'm going like, well, they ain't going to get you over.
No, bingo.
They need to let the reins go so you can do your thing.
Well, first question I have to that would be, hey, who's writing it?
Yeah.
You know, if you have
Yeah.
Dusty Rhodes writing something for you, it
There
might
you
be good,
go.
but
Yeah.
you're probably going to sound like Dusty Rhodes.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, you have your own vernacular.
Yeah.
I have my own vernacular.
Right.
I'm sure you could write a promo for me, but it would, if anybody that follows my career would say, oh, it doesn't really sound like Shane usually sounds. Same if I did one for you.
Yeah.
But what I learned from all of those guys that came before us was watching them, like the poise, and that was part of the anger that I had with myself, that I was caught with my pants down, because this is part of our game. You
Yeah.
know, it's like in football, you know, you wear a helmet and pads, right?
Yeah.
You don't go out of the game, I'm a big tough guy, I don't need pads or a
Right,
helmet. Same thing with our business. We do a lot in that ring, but we also do a lot in front of this camera, and this
Yeah.
camera is what sells what we do in the ring.
Right, yeah.
So in many ways, this is more important. And when you hear the kids today, and I feel so bad for them, because, you know, for anybody that's out there running a wrestling promotion, put all the kids in your dressing room. Make them do their own promos.
Yeah.
Some will be great at it. A bunch will be okay at it.
Yeah.
Some will suck at it. Guess what? That's the ones you say, okay, we need to put a manager with that kid.
Exactly.
Or we'll not have him, like Sabu,
Yeah.
not talk as much.
That's it.
But the one that can do it, like Cat,
it, yeah.
let him fucking go.
That's right.
He knows his character
Exactly.
better than I would,
Yeah.
and could never write a promo
Yep,
for
that's
you.
right. That's right. You know, and when I was training people, we did every Wednesday. We call it working on promos. I'd put the camera in the ring. Sometimes I put the camera in the ring and I have a stick guy there, or let them cut it themselves and
Right.
record it.
There you go.
And then we'll all sit and watch
Bingo.
everybody's promo.
I used to do that in
Point
TNA.
out everything you might want to do and not do in a promo. It worked tremendously.
Absolutely.
And those guys learned how to cut promos.
Sure.
And when these guys go do shows or something for a little, you know, company, you know, a little small gig somewhere, and they let them shoot a promo, and they said, "Man, you cut a good promo."
Sure.
Yeah, we do. We work on them every
work on
damn
them,
week.
that's right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just imagine if I didn't teach these kids how to do a promo,
Yeah.
they would never learn how to talk.
That's right.
As a wrestler, whatever your character is, you have, on top of wrestling, if you got to learn how to talk
Yes.
in front of that damn camera.
Yeah.
So you can. The whole objective is to sell tickets.
Correct.
Period.
Yeah.
This character's working. Can y'all make some money together?
That's
Can
right.
y'all put some butts in some seats?
Yeah.
Because if you own a TV show, say for example, I'm just saying this because we're in camera here.
Yeah.
Just say you and me, they already got us in an angle.
Right.
Our job is to sell tickets for that
That's right.
promoter.
That's right.
Right. So you and me, we got to get together and, you know, we do our thing. I say what I'm going to say, you say what you're going to say.
Yes.
Make them want to go buy a ticket. Oh man, I'm going to see that son of a
That's
gun.
right. Yeah.
That's going to be a hell of a barn burner.
Yeah.
And that's what's lacking today, in my opinion.
Well, it has. There's no soul to it.
Nope.
There's no heart to it.
No.
It sounds very sterile. You know,
Right.
if I was reading words of it, I am the franchise Shane Douglas, and I'm going to kick your butt because, so, you know, whatever. Whatever the vernacular would be, is never going to be the same. And I'm thankful that we did it with a camera like this, as opposed to a teleprompter. Because to me, when I looked in that camera, it's like you behind the shades,
Yeah.
right? I didn't feel like I was looking at anybody. When you look somebody in the eye, you get distracted. You get like drawn in, or you start thinking about something. Look at that lens is sterile.
Right.
Right? There's nobody there, and you
Right.
feel free to just start to evoke and go
Yeah.
off. And they might say, do it again, tone it down a bit or whatever.
yeah.
But that's how you learn to do it.
That's
and,
right.
you know, we were at a special time in the business, A, as it was shooting into the stratosphere.
Yeah, yeah.
And B, when we had, like I always tell people, and it's no joke, and I'm not exaggerating, literally everybody sitting in the dressing room was a future Hall of Famer.
That's right.
Everybody in that dressing room knew how to work their asses off
That's
and
right.
talk their asses off.
Yeah.
And if all you had to do is like they taught us, shut your mouth, pay attention,
Listen,
and learn,
learn.
kid.
You better believe it.
Learn.
And that's one thing I taught my students too, man. You know, you get in the freaking dressing room, just like you and me sitting here talking.
Yeah.
Just imagine me and you in a dressing room and there's a bunch of young people running around.
Sure.
This is just you and me talking.
Yeah.
They're taught to sit there and listen. Ah, damn it, you want to say something, you might want to do this number right here, like in class.
That's right.
If you don't, because I remember back in the day, dude, I was in the dressing room one day, and there was a bunch of us veterans in this freaking dressing room. I'm talking some big names
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
I'm talking about from Junkyard Dog to Jake the Snake to Demolition.
Yeah.
We was up in freaking
Guys that
Canada.
are drawing money.
Yes.
Yeah.
We was in the freaking dressing room. We all sitting there chilling, just talking, waiting
Yeah.
to work. And these young people, we were just all in the conversation, us veterans.
Yeah.
And these young cats tried to get into the conversation. I was like, oh Lord, here comes these fools.
Freeze that story. When you were the young kid in the dressing room, Gaggle's dressing room,
yeah, I didn't say a bloody word.
and you saw the veterans over there talking.
Yep.
Would you have ever thought of one?
Hell
your
no.
nose in there? Hell no.
I got taught early, brother.
Yeah.
Because Gaggle told us, Sonny told us too. You know, when these people come here, you know, if you want to learn, just listen. That's the key.
That's
listen.
Right. Yeah.
Don't you say a bloody word unless they ask you something.
That's right.
Other than that, you don't say nothing. And so I every time I went to a show as a young person, a gig that I was booked on, and you know, I'm meeting all these people that I used to watch. Pat O'Connor, man.
Inside you're dying, you want to talk to
Oh,
them.
yes, I did, man. I'd be like, oh, man, you know, because back then they didn't have them damn cell phones, so you couldn't take no picture with nobody.
Right.
So I'm sitting there going, man, you know, I just watched this nice little bitty fella. There he is over there.
Yeah.
So-and-so over there. Harley Race over there.
Yeah.
Pat, you know, the Stomper. I mean, all these people.
Oh, sure.
And I didn't say one word, but they come and say, how you doing, kid?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I'll be like, nice to meet you. I mean, I felt like $1 million.
Absolutely.
I was like, this guy came to me and said something.
Yeah.
I don't know if Geico told him, you know, that guy's going to be good or whatever.
Yeah.
But I noticed they didn't do that to everybody.
Right.
You know.
Well, when you were talking earlier on about, you know, working out in the living room, or you know, when you were finally in Memorial Hall and doing your stuff and everything, but now you're in the dressing room, you're watching these real pros,
Right?
Guys you've watched on television,
Right.
And like my feeling, I'm sure yours was the same, was always not just worried about keeping my mouth shut, but I knew that everybody else in that dressing room knew a gazillion% more than I knew about wrestling.
No doubt.
And if I wanted to have a career, if I wanted to learn my craft, I knew I could learn from these guys. But if I was some kind of big, you know who I am? I'm Troy Martin. You know?
Yeah.
What those guys would say? Okay, let's go out and let's have fun with this kid.
Stretch.
Yeah.
They call it stretching.
And
I've seen a lot of cats get stretched, man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, a lot of prima donnas get stretched because they, just like you said, they thought they were the cock of the walk, man. And they said,
I'm one of you.
Okay.
I'm a star with you.
Yeah, there you go. They get you in that ring, boy, crank your arm far back in your damn back, and you be sitting there going, no, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, teach you a lesson. They get in the back, then they tell you, kid, listen, the reason why this happened is because you got to come back down a few pegs. Today, these cats are so far up here, man, it's ridiculous. Don't know nothing.
Just you saying that, not that I was ever doing anything overtly in the ring.
Yeah.
Pez Watley taught me how to throw a punch.
Yeah.
Danucci never threw punches. If he did, it was sort of like this thing with his arms. But most time it was the European uppercut stuff.
Yeah.
So we never learned to punch in Dominic's school. Ours was mostly amateur style wrestling. We come back from the ring one day and Pez goes, "You're killing me out there, kid." You know, and half tatered him or missing him and he's selling him what looks like a shitty, you know.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of those.
Yeah, so he took me into the dressing room, pulled the lineup for the night off the wall, walked into the shower, tore the tape off his wrist, and put that lineup on the brick wall in the shower. He goes, punch it. I can't punch it, I'll hurt my hand. He goes, he kept, I said, I can't. He reached up, threw perfect punch, hit that, snapped that paper. It was like somebody cut a lady in half.
Yeah.
How the fuck did he do that?
Right.
And he told me, you do that every night we get done working. You come in, you do the same thing every night.
Yeah.
When I first couple nights I'm done, like watching, like, is he ribbing me? You know, I'm watching the dressing room and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you start to realize how you're, you know, leading off with his finger and, you know, getting a snap sound and how, you know, just, you know, the same as when you throw a football, right?
Yeah.
That was how I learned to, but again, he was in the ring, seasoned enough to know that my punches sucked. I was either tatering them or missing them by a mile. And they probably looked like shit on top of it. That's how it came. He knew, at the time he had no idea, but I'm sure Watts or Eddie Gilbert or somebody in the company was saying, hey, we want to try to build the kid, you know, teach him whatever. And, you know, they slowly start putting you up that ladder a little bit, you know, bigger and bigger names. And at the time, you're not even paying attention. You're just going out there and hoping like hell to hang on and, you know, don't fall off, you know.
You speak of Eddie Gilbert, I had an opportunity to work with him, man, and his dad, man, and his brothers, you know, his brother. Great freaking guy, left way too early.
Oh my God.
You know?
He was one of those guys that had he had grown up in it. He had such a brain for the business. You know? He had come, how we met Eddie Gilbert was Dominic was running shows up in Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Ohio. And UWF was pretty hot on TV at the time. This is probably around 84, 5 in there somewhere.
Yep.
And he knew Bill Watts pretty well from back in the day, and had about 12 shots lined up, straight shots night after night, all around the tri-state area, and we were all driving them around. Well, about the second or third night, Eddie Gilbert and Terry Taylor, Dominic would always put me and Mick Foley on the curtain jerk. I was the white meat baby face, and Mick would get his heat and throw himself around.
Right.
And they pulled us out back. Now, to be honest with you, Mick and I never ever dreamt of not that we didn't want one, but we never really thought we could be wrestlers because we're nowhere near as good as those guys. We're okay for this, but those guys on TV are great. And they pulled us out back in Charleston, West Virginia, the old Nathan Goff Arena. I think it's like falling down now. It's not been torn down. And they said, "You guys ever think about going on the road?" And we told them no. We were giddy as school kids that night, right? Like, we want to go on the road. Eddie said he's going to hire us. He was the assistant booker at that time, but pretty much booking because Watts was working on just trying to catch up to Vince.
Yeah.
So he hired me a few months later, and Mick was supposed to come in like a month or 6 weeks after me, like one at a time. Right after I got in, Bill put in a hiring freeze because he was starting to run low on money. And Mick had been going through Memphis and that whole routine. But, I always look back at that and think, like, what a incredible moment at the start of our careers.
Yeah.
We were two nobody greenhorn kids that didn't know shit, but he was seasoned enough to see something in us, something that we didn't see in ourselves. And when I first got down there, I had the pleasure of working with Eddie. The first night, I think it was the first night. No, the first night was a TV taping. The second time I worked with him, we were in Thibodaux, Louisiana. He was running an angle with Sting, the top babyface, and he had Hot Stuff International, and Terry Taylor had just turned heel. So Sting was going to the ring. Terry came up behind him with a chair and hard-weighted him, hit him, tailored him.
Yeah.
With that white hair, of course, blood came out back. Louisiana won't let you wrestle. So I'm back in the back, finishing getting dressed up, and Tommy Gilbert comes running back and looks around and goes, "Shane, get to the ring," because I was mostly dressed.
Yeah.
I go to the ring, and Eddie's in the ring. We hadn't said anything. So I go into the ring. He starts calling the match. Next thing I know, I hit him with a cover. 1, 2. I'm ready to kick off. He pulls me back on top. 3 for the belt.
Really?
I thought I fucked up. I thought, I'm gonna get fucking fired. Holy shit! What just happened? And Eddie did that to me. He told me afterwards when he first came in, brought me into ECW, that he knew where my career was going, and he did that. He didn't tell me beforehand because he didn't want to make me nervous.
Oh, I see.
And just all those little tricks, those old timers.
It worked too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Without knowing, man, you can go out there and just be humble with it.
Otherwise, I'd have been shitting bricks at the back.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, you've been nervous as hell. You've been stumbling like a big dog.
Absolutely.
In that ring,
I'm gonna go out and get beaten.
Excuse me. Yeah. Yeah.
Now ECW.
Yeah.
First year you were brought into ECW.
19. Hot dog it. It was when they first get off the ground. Paulie gave me a call.
Maybe 4, maybe.
Yeah, I already had my little first run.
Was Benoit Malenko still there, or they'd already left?
No, they weren't there yet. This very first time.
Yeah,
I was there. And Paulie had gave me a call. Right, called me and said, "Hey, what's up, Curtis? This is Paulie. You remember me from WCW days?" I said, "What's up, Paulie? How you doing?" He goes, "Yeah, I called you because I'm opening up this company called Eastern Championship Wrestling, and we're interested in doing some business with you. Would you like to do it?"
Yep.
We talked about some money. I said, "Yeah, hell yeah, I'll do it." And so he says, we got to talking. I said, "Well, so who's the promoter? Who's the booker? Who?" He goes, "I'm the booker, but the owner is Todd Gordon."
Yeah.
Jewish guy. Owns a jewelry shop down there in New York.
Philadelphia.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
damn it.
yeah.
Philadelphia. Thank you for that. And so anyway, I flew up, and where we were at, first show we did was at this looked like an old abandoned high school in a gym. I mean, it's online. You can see it. I mean, my first match was with Sandman, I think. And we was in this old abandoned school, and I was big as a house, man, because I was after I left WWF, I took a break.
Was that the one where like the gymnasium was like a cinder block room, just a big empty room?
Well, no, not yet. Not yet. This was it's online. So if you ever look online and you see the first taping that they did, I mean, they had a few lights. It was kind of dark.
Yeah.
I mean, I was big as a house. I mean, I was out of shape, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, I was out of shape big time.
Right.
And so as time went on, I started going back to the gym, you know, trying to get back in shape. Because I was like, hey, here's another run for me. I might as well be serious about it.
Right.
And then at the time, when I started working out, then we went to the ECW arena, they call it. But that place was just a little warehouse at the time. You know,
no AC.
Nothing.
Yeah.
It was like a freaking dungeon.
Yes.
You know, they used to store parade props in there.
Yeah.
You know.
Mummers Day Parade.
Yeah. Yep. Sure did. And at the time they had a little ring set up in the back. And when I went to that arena the first time, you know, Taz was there. They were all in the back training.
Yeah.
Sabu, the Dudley Boys, all those cats was in the back training at the time. And I didn't realize it at the time, but Paul Lee was bringing in these stars to work to build these guys up for the company. See?
That's right. Yeah.
He's bringing these names in to work these nobodies to build these cats up, so the company can roll. You understand?
Sure.
Because he he brought me in and stuff like that. But I just got off TV though with the Undertaker.
Right.
And so I was real conscious of being careful.
Yeah.
You know, who I did jobs for.
Sure.
You know? And so, you know, fast forward a little bit, those guys got trained a little better, and then Paulie started using them on shows.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, for example, one night he wanted me to work with Taz. Taz was nobody. Nobody knew who these people were until ECW Extreme, Eastern Championship Wrestling got on their little TV show in Philly. And one day, Paulie was like, yeah, I need you to have a match with Taz. You know, I need to put him over. You know.
Right.
But Taz was a dangerous dude. I used to see him just grab people and just throw them any kind of way.
Yeah.
Man, I weighed damn near 400 pounds. You're not going to just throw me any kind of way.
Right.
I land on the back of this, the party's over,
That's
brother.
right, yes.
I'm in a cheer forever.
Yeah.
And so this is God's honest true story, man. First we were sitting in the dressing room talking about the finish, what we're going to do. He wanted to do that finish to me. I told him, I said, dude, I'm not going to do your finish. I'm not going to do your finish. We can come up with something else. I'm not going to do your finish. He runs out like a girl and tells Paulie, look, he don't want to do my finish. Paulie comes in and said, could you do this favor? I said, Paulie, look, I seen this guy. He's dangerous to how he throws people. You're not going to, I said, look how big I am, man. You think I'm going to let this little kid throw me on the back of my neck and break my neck? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I said, we'll come up. I'll put him over.
Yeah, sure.
I'm a team player, don't get me wrong. I'll put him over.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be with that. And he goes, you guys just work it out, because Paulie had stuff going on, man.
Yeah.
He couldn't sit there and talk with us.
Right.
He goes, just figure it out and let me know.
Yeah.
So we go outside to talk about this finish in the back. And we're just talking about it. He just, please, Mr. Hughes, please, man. You know, you had your shot. I mean, he asking me all this stuff.
Yeah.
Please, just let me do this one thing. Dude, you're not going to throw me on the back of my neck. I said, I'll tell you what. I'll let you beat me with a freaking power slam. How's that? Okay. Finally, he agreed to it. We go out there, have the match. Comes time to go home. He shoots me, gives me a power slam. 1, 2, 3, I kick out. After 3, just half a second. After 3, I roll out and walk back to the freaking dressing room. Paulie's 38 hot. Because I did that.
Yeah.
Dude, I just got off television. I'm trying to keep my freaking, so I can go back. I wanted to go back and make some of that WWF money.
But also, if you just go and lay down, then you can't get me or somebody else over.
Exactly.
If you've already laid down.
Thank you very much.
You got to stay at a certain place. Yeah.
Exactly. And so, you know, a couple people that he put me, even Mikey Whipwreck, good guy.
Yeah.
Ain't got nothing against Mikey.
Right.
But these guys, like I said, haven't been nowhere yet.
Right.
this is the first company that they worked for. So you mean to tell me you want me, Mr. Hughes, been with all these companies working for him, had this big angle with The Undertaker, had this big angle with Lex Luger. You know, I can go on and on.
Right.
Well, all of a sudden, you want me to come in here with these guys that just got trained and put them over?
Right.
So what about my career? I'm still young enough to keep going, you know,
Sure,
because after that, I went to WWF two more times.
Yeah.
You know, so I had to protect myself. And that's the reason why when you and I finally got together, right, you know, we did our thing with
Right.
911 and
Yeah.
all that. That Paulie wanted me to put 911 over. I didn't have no, you know, I took the choke slam, you know, he did the 1, 2, 3. He did all that. But he wanted more. He wanted more from me. He wanted me to start bleeding and going through tables and glass and all that. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Right.
I don't do that kind of stuff, Paulie. Sorry, dude.
Yeah.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Right.
Peace. You know what I'm saying? I look, like I tell people, man, I did not get in this business to get maimed
Right.
and hurt and busted up.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I got a little color when I was in freaking ECW. Sure, I did. Remember when we worked with
Sure.
Bruce Brothers?
Yeah, in the
that
cage.
cage match?
Yeah, absolutely.
I got some color.
That was the first night I got color in ECW. Bro.
Yeah, but that's all I can do for you. You understand? That's all I can do for this company, man. I'm not gonna, you know, like say for example, like Sabu, man. I mean, he freaking fell into freaking barbed wire. I mean, he fell in all kinds of stuff and maimed himself up, man.
Yes, yeah.
You understand?
Well, and look at Monday morning's always hindsight quarterbacking, right?
Yeah.
Easy because now we know what happened.
Right.
With ECW, the danger that I saw in ECW was that everybody was going out and getting color for no reason.
Exactly.
It meant nothing.
Exactly.
And so, if I'm on at midnight, which is about the time I usually go
Yeah,
on, start
yeah.
the show at 7.
Yep. Last one of the night.
Yeah, 30 other people got in color tonight. What does it mean now?
It don't mean nothing.
Doesn't mean anything.
Nothing.
And I'm going to cut this pretty face up.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So I would always hold off on that. But also the same stuff with, and Paul had described it pretty clearly to me. I want you to be the calm in the middle of the storm. So let everybody else go out and do the glass and the tape
Yeah.
fist matches and the barbed wire and everything else.
Yep.
My mouth would run, but I'd never do that
Right.
because I was the guy that had legitimately learned my craft
Exactly.
and could carry the strap and show that. But back to you, like to me, seeing that, you know, it's like the age-old thing in wrestling you're seeing today, right? You see match 1, 96 flippity flops.
Right, yeah.
Match 2, 97 flippity flops.
Yeah.
Match 3, 99 flippity.
There you go.
It's the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I see so much more money in the big cat as that character that's off here to the side doing something else, doing
Yeah.
his gimmick,
Right.
while everybody else is doing all this stuff over here. So now we go out and we've got some vanilla, we got some chocolate, we got
There
some
you go.
pistachio,
Yeah, yeah.
a little bit of everything instead of everybody just blood and
Yeah,
gutsing it up
yeah.
every night.
That's the thing that I really didn't care about when I was in ECW, you know, because once it changed from Eastern
Yeah.
Championship Wrestling, and then they started doing Extreme because guys started doing that. What you're talking about,
Right.
bleeding and getting busted over the hips with fluorescent lights and falling off the balcony like
Right.
freaking New Jack used to do,
Right.
all that crazy stuff. Then they changed it to Extreme.
Yeah.
Well, that's not the kind of wrestling I want to do.
Right.
Right. I mean, I you know, thank you for bringing me down here, up there, whatever, and working with y'all for a few months or whatever, year, whatever the case may be, because I moved up there too.
How long were you there in total?
Well, I was there for at least 12 months.
I would say about a year.
Yeah, about a year, because I had moved up there. Because I was living in Atlanta. I still had a place in Atlanta, but I got another apartment up there.
Right.
Did you ever meet Mo? You remember
Oh yeah,
Mo?
absolutely.
Yeah, Mo, she was a good girl, man,
Oh,
real
yeah.
wrestler. So I ended up moving in her same complex. Well, not right across from her, I got an apartment, because she said,
Right.
yeah. She goes, yeah, Mr. Hughes, there's an apartment open. If you want, I can talk to the manager at the apartment.
Right.
And she talked to him and she goes, yeah, you can move in. And
And she'd run you all over, wouldn't she?
man, that was a good girl, man.
Yeah.
You remember we was at this one show, and I was needing some furniture. It was this green. I can't remember what town it was in, but that's when you did this promo. It was hot as hell.
Valley Forge.
I think that's
In
what.
the dressing room?
Yeah.
With Sherry Martel?
No, not that one.
No?
No, it was. Damn it! I wish I. But anyway, we did this show, and that particular promo is on YouTube.
Is it?
Yeah, at that particular promo. I can't remember who we worked, but anyway, you worked. I was your bodyguard. Mm-hmm. At that building, there was this green recliner, and it was this one guy that I got to know. He drove this blue Camaro. He drove me to the gig. Mm-hmm. And in the dressing room,
I know where this is going.
There was this blue recliner, and I sat on it, and I was like, "Whose recliner is this?" They go, "I don't know." And so I was like, "I need some furniture," because I just moved in this apartment. So I'm sitting there thinking, we did the promo, and I was done. So I came back, got dressed, and I found my buddy that gave me a ride to the gig. Yeah. I said, "Hey man, you mind if I put this recliner on the top of your car, man? I need some furniture." He goes, "Yeah, on the Camaro, exactly." He goes, "Yeah, Mr. Hughes, no problem." So we found some rope. Yeah. Right? I mean, it's a true story. It's a shoot, brother. I found some rope because it was towards the end of the night, so a lot of the boys were gone. Yeah. Because I waited, I said I don't want to do it when everybody was here. Right. But there was, New Jack was still there. There were some people that's still there because they tell the story too on some of their podcasts, whatever. Yeah. And that's a shoot story. So half of the boys were gone. I think you had already left. I don't remember. But we did at night. We did a promo in the back. But because Paul used to set up that banner and we do that ECW banner. We do. And so we toted this sucker out. He pulled up with it because it was kind of like a dock there. So he bagged his car up to the dock, and we picked that sucker up and toted it to the car. Put it on top of his freaking hood, tied that sucker down, and went back to freaking Delaware, because that's where I stayed. Yeah, in Delaware. And when I took that thing, the next time we did another TV taping, New Jack was like, "Man, did you really take that freaking, you damn right I took it. I need some furniture." And I used that sucker till I moved back to Atlanta. Yeah. Yeah, that's a shoot story, man.
Perfect price.
You better believe it.
I remember the first night that there you go, and there it is with me, you, and Sherry.
Oh yeah, that's a good old picture right there.
Yeah, that was the.
Where'd you get that at? I'd like to get one of those. Huh?
That's yours.
All right, I'll put that in the frame, brother.
And this night,
she pouring some water on you.
Yeah, yeah. And if that wasn't the first time we were together, it was close. Right, oh, huge.
Yeah, that was big.
And it was hotter than hell in that building.
Oh,
that was Valley Forge.
Yep. Yeah, that's that same building that Taz wanted me to do the job for.
Is that right?
Yep, that's the same building that night.
So we were sitting and we did the promo. It didn't say anything. Just Kurt's going to be your bodyguard, and Sherry was Sherry, right?
Right. Yeah.
And we just started rolling with it. But I remember just thinking to myself, like, fuck, that was easy.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
It was just like, boom, you hit your gimmick. Yeah. Sherry said her stuff. I said my. And it was like there was no like, hey, I need more time, or you need more time, or Sherry needs more time. It was just bam, 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 nailing it out,
and I noticed that when they put us together, right, as champion and bodyguard, we got some heat. Mm-hmm. I'm talking some serious freaking heat, brother.
And Paul was brilliant at it, because think about it.
Yeah, he was.
He had a career-long, middle-of-the-car white meat baby face, running his mouth like a big dildo, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I got your big ass behind me, protecting me.
Right.
Now everybody's thinking, son of a bitch, I'd like to slap that franchise, but man, that big boy's going to get me.
There you go, right, yeah.
And, I grew up watching Muhammad Ali when they used to have boxing on TV for free, right?
Right, yeah.
And he was so good as a boxer, but I couldn't stand him because of the way he'd run his mouth.
Right, yeah.
Right? And that's where I got the idea, was like he, talk good about me, talk bad about me, just talk about me. Some of the people will love you, but if you got a lot of people really despising you, then it's easy, right? It's downhill from there.
Oh, yeah.
And the whole time we were together, it was, I don't know if in the back of my head or Paul saw something, but that was where I first started garnering the idea for a stable, because if you look later, there was, later would be Brian Lee, right?
Yeah.
First, Benoit and Malenko, but then after they left, we needed a big man in there because you had already gone, and so Brian Lee was in there. Then he disappeared, and then here comes Bam Bam Bigelow. Right. So it was the same thing, really. Like, okay, I'll get my ass beat for a second, but Bam Bam was going to get you, like Curtis used to get you, and there was so much heat in that.
Oh yeah,
it was such an easy formula.
Very easy, because when when we was getting ready to go out there, I was excited because I was like, yeah, they're going to be throwing stuff, cussing us out. I mean, it's going to be off the chain, right?
Yeah.
Sure enough, we go through that damn curtain, man, and you get to work, and boy, these people hated your guts. And out here I was the backup. You know, that was the fun part because if we did something to somebody, like say for example, like Tommy Dreamer, at the time he was a liked babyface in ECW.
Yes.
And so, you know, when we get on him, you sit there saying, beat the hell out of that sucker. You know, people going, this cocksucker.
Oh, yeah.
I can't stand this son of a gun.
I'm curious, from your point, like being ringside and watching the matches and stuff, it might have been different. Like I was always worried about, because it happened how many times in the building, somebody hit me from behind with a board or whatever.
Right.
Did you ever have to really tangle with anybody in the audience?
Not really. You know, that's one thing I noticed. People really, really respected me.
They knew.
They did.
They were afraid to,
Yeah, they did not do nothing stupid. Didn't nobody throw nothing at me.
Yeah.
If they did, it was a piece of paper.
Yeah.
But nobody really tried to hurt me because, like, after a show or something, I'd be out and about, man. People like, great show, Mr. Hughes.
Sure.
Treating you with respect instead of just like, I hate that freaking nigger, something like that. You know what I mean? Hate to use that word, but I'm being real with it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't been on shows, brother. But I've been called everything but the child of God. Let me tell you, I done got piss thrown at me. I done got poop thrown at me. I done got ice cold beer thrown at me. I done got hot dog full of mustard thrown at me.
Great shit too. That's called heat.
And I did not sell it.
Yeah.
And it pissed them off so bad.
Oh, sure.
I mean, I stuck like a son of a gun when somebody threw some poop at me, but I didn't sell it. I know the guy in the ring didn't want to work with me. That's for sure. He just ducking and dodging like, man, are you kidding? Somebody threw some shot at you? I was like, yeah, somebody threw something at me. And so we really, during that match, I mean, we were just pretty much just doing this, and I'm working the people and doing that, this, and that, and the other. And we figured out a way to make the finish work, being a hat full of doo-doo on me, you know what I'm saying? It was funny as hell, dude. Yeah. It was in Puerto Rico.
But that's where you're getting you're doing your job.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Right?
I did that a lot, man, where a company would bring me in and I'd have some heat because I just doing what I was doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I never cussed at people. But I don't know, I had certain words that I used that got up under their skin.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And, I mean, they would just get triggered, pissed. I mean, good God.
Yeah.
Thank God we had security at ECW.
The one that Sherry, rest her soul, she was a phenomenal girl, man.
Yeah.
She, we were in the ECW arena one night. I think it was before you came in, and we had a battle royal at the end. And, ends up me and Tommy. Last two, I beat Tommy. Tommy rolls out of the ring. Sherry and I are doing our thing. Like when you get discombobulated in the ring. Well, the people had closed down the ring, so there was no aisleways. And I couldn't figure out which way to get out. And then I realized they're completely surrounding the ring. Can't get out.
Oh.
So I'm thinking, boy, I hope security comes. Well, I didn't know at the time until later when they shut the cameras off. The monitors were off, so nobody knew I was trapped out there.
Right.
And the whole night, earlier that night, a guy came up behind me. I was running in during a Terry Funk Sabu match. And they were fighting against the ropes. Sabu was going to plancha me. So I'm at ringside and I see Sabu's feet get like right here and boom!
Whoa.
I'm thinking, at first it almost knocked me out, but I'm like, oh God. My first thought was, son of a bitch, I mistimed that. Now I hear Sherry going, this motherfucker's got a board.
A board?
And I turn around and I see this guy with red hair melting back into the thing. They had the truck then, so I went back and rewound the tape. Guy walked up with a 2x4 right behind him, like a baseball.
Did you?
Bonk, right in the back of the head.
Oh, damn.
So now back to the Battle Royal. Tommy leaves, fans closing on the ring. Sherry and I are in the ring, and all of a sudden, somebody pops up on the apron, and I turn, look, once one breaks those ropes, they're all coming.
You better believe
So that guy jumps up on the oak. I look, it's the dude with red hair. Drunk as a skunk. And the crowd's all, go, 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 right? Like it's part of the show or something. Yeah. And I'm trying to keep him on the apron. I'm trying to talk him down. Like, dude, cover those ropes. I'm going to beat your fucking ass. Stay the fuck where you are.
Yeah.
Go, 1,000 people, right? This idiot finally steps to the ropes like he's part of the show. And real nervous grin on his face, like, come on, work with me or whatever, right? Now I'm afraid that if I grab this guy, everybody's going to jump. Yeah. And I'm hoping I can buy some time for security to get here, right? And Sherry melts off to the corner, or she might have even powdered somehow. But this guy starts walking toward me. Whole time fans are chanting and pounding, right? And to this day, I don't know, he went like this with his hands. And when he did, I grabbed him and I uppercutted him and hooked him. And I took him down on the mat. I'm thinking, please get security in here, you know? And he keeps trying to hit me in the balls. And for some reason, Haku popped in my head. Haku said, take their eye out. So I put my thumb in the corner of his eye. I had a chin locked, right? And I put my thumb in the corner of his eye. I said, if you hit me again, I'm going to fucking take your eyeball. And he tried again. And I went,
Oh, damn.
dug my thumb in, brother. He went flat as a sheet of paper.
Yeah.
And just then I saw somebody coming from my left, so I rolled off. I thought it was a fan.
Yeah.
Here was Mike Awesome, who had seen what was going on and fought his way through the audience and jumped on the guy. So I jump up to give him cover, right, while he's beating the one kid up. And as I'm backing up, you can tell when you feel somebody push you. Somebody strong as fuck pushed me. I turned around ready to fight. Remember Big Rosie?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was big as nicest guy in the world, but big as a mountain.
Right, yeah.
I turned around and like my brain is, I'm thinking it's a fan, right? I went, son of a bitch. Now I'm like giving myself room, like maybe I have to run if I got to.
Right.
And I saw the badge on his waist, you know.
Yeah.
But shit would get crazy there.
Oh, yeah, I know.
You know, that's why I wondered if you'd ever had that problem.
No, I did, man. Thank God. I tell you, I was lucky, man. I think I left before it really, really got extreme.
Yeah.
Because right before I was leaving, getting done, man, they were starting doing some crazy stuff in that building, man. And I was like, I don't want a part of that stuff, man. I got to help.
When they kept letting them bring the weapons in and stuff. And
that was crazy, man.
well, our security did a great job, but how easy to slide a gun in here, a knife in here.
Right.
And I remember again back to Funk saying, you won't know till after you've been cut.
Yeah.
And because the one time I think it was in San Antonio or someplace down in Texas, fighting through the audience, said he saw the guy swing at him, but he thought he was like just punching him or whatever.
Right.
And he thought he was pissing his pants. He looked down, his guts are hanging out, and he's bleeding like a stuck pig. Intestines, everything. So ECW really started getting a little bit out there.
That almost happened to me one time in Mexico. I was working Cactus. Place was sold out in freaking Mexico. And I was the heel, and he was the baby. But no, was that in Germany? Was that in Mexico? No, it was in Mexico, that's right. And I'm working Cactus. And he, I think he spoke a little bit of that. But anyway, I'm getting a little heat on him. He gives me a big bump of powder, right? And I'm over close to the people saying, shut your stinking mouth. And Cactus was like leaning over the freaking ropes going, man, get back, they'll stab you.
Yeah.
I'm going, what the hell are you talking about? So I get back in the ring, and once we get back close together, he goes, brother, don't get out on the floor no more like that, close to those freaking guardrails, man. So they'll stick you, and you ain't gonna know who did it. I was like, really? So I'm glad you told me that.
Right.
So every time I went to Mexico, I was real careful. I never got close to the freaking railing.
Yeah.
I was always by like close to the apron on the floor,
Sure.
So they couldn't reach the stick because every time I went over there, or even Puerto Rico.
Yeah, Puerto Rico was bad.
Oh God, that was a hell of a spot.
Did you wrestle in Bayamon?
I wrestled that whole damn island. I used to go a lot.
Ponce?
All that, brother. Because when I first started going over there, I would wrestle Carlos. And I hated it. He loved to bleed.
Yeah.
I had white shirts on, man. That soaking shirt every night.
Right.
I had two of them. He had me work him, the guy that killed Brody, and Abdullah.
The guy that killed Brody's the guy that I worked with when I went to the first time.
Invader.
Yeah. Invader, number one.
Yep, and a lot of people were scared of that dude. They were scared to go over there to work, and scared to, if they didn't get all their money in the envelope, they were scared to go ask Carlos. I didn't give a damn. If he was short, I'd say, Carlos, can I holler at you for a second?
Yeah.
I ain't going to no damn shower, but we gonna go over here. I was like, yeah, we a little short, man.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, I know, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it, before you leave.
Yeah.
And I'm going like, well, I'd prefer to, He goes, don't worry, I got you, brother. Which, one day, it was a hurricane. They had brought me in, flew me over there, it was a hurricane. And I was like, damn, I don't think we're going to do any more shows. I think they might cancel.
Yeah.
And plus they had shorted me on my money. I was like, these cocksuckers didn't give me all my freaking money. I'm going home.
Yeah.
So I went to the airport, got my bag, left the hotel, went to the airport, didn't tell nobody anything. I think they were going to run the show that night, but I got on the plane and went home.
Yeah.
I guess the driver, came to the hotel, went to go knock on the door where I was at, and I was not there. And so Carlos, when I went home, he had called my number. He goes, "What are you doing there, amigo?" I was like, "Well, you didn't give me all my money, and it was a hurricane." He goes, "No, you got to come back.
Oof.
You got to come back." So he bought me a ticket to come back.
Yeah.
Another round trip ticket, right? So when I got back, I said, because I need my money, Carlos. He goes, "Don't worry, when you get off the plane, Victor will have your money." Mm-hmm. Victor was the driver.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so I think the way I did it, he knew that I was not one of those scary wrestlers.
Right.
I was like, "Dude, I'm not scared to die, man. I'm going to fight what's mine. I got a family to feed. Sure. Dude, I need all my money."
Right.
So I went back, got on the plane, went back, got off the plane. Victor was waiting for me outside of the gate. We walking through the airport. He handed us the envelope. "Here you go, Mr. Hughes. Carlos told me to give you that." He had all my money, and he had money for the rest of the tour.
Yeah.
So he gave me extra.
Right.
So then he always brought me back. Mm-hmm. And every time I came back, it was for either a super show, anniversary show. I ended up either working Abdullah,
right,
or Invader, or one of his sons, or him.
Right.
That's the only people he booked me with.
Yeah.
I do a promo, setting it up, and then we go to all these damn islands. Mm-hmm. Outside, hot as hell, even inside, doing these shows.
Yeah.
That's hot as hell. I mean, I sweated profusely in those freaking shows, man. I mean, I was drinking that Puerto Rican beer over there, and I was partying, and what's his name? He was over there. He was the booker, Robley, Buck Robley. He was the booker at the time. Mm-hmm. He was all cracked out too. And a lot of guys was doing that stuff back then. Oh yeah. Thank God I quit.
Every place.
Well,
Curtis, I sure appreciate talking to you today, bro.
Yeah, man.
We'll do this one because
I'm really glad that I could come on the show and talk about the good old days of wrestling. Hopefully these people that watch this thing, man, can pick up a little knowledge.
Yeah, it's hope, right?
Yeah, no doubt.